Well, welcome back to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show.
Well, how to do?
I am back from my vacation. Had a good time down in Rocky Point, Mexico. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, YouTube. Um, it's kind of fun, except I think it was Thursday. It's intense winds. You guys had it up here in the valley too, but it was blowing all the sand off the beach right at my travel trailer, and I thought it was I I just stayed inside, and so did my neighbors. Thought, well, we'll do damage assessment in the morning, and I thought it was going to remove all the paint from my travel trailer, and it didn't. But I had other issues. It blew all kinds of sand into my water heater in the back. It's got a little tube there, and it was just full of sand. And that's right, Terry. This episode's going to be bonkers. So anyway, it's very interesting to watch and see what was going on in the market. I had decent internet down there. I was sponging off my neighbor's satellite dish. He has the Elon Musk satellite system. Got to say, it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a shot. But as you can see by the numbers below, the gap between new contracts is now the other way. So we're getting more new listings on the 7-day moving average, and you can see it here. Sales, however, have not taken a huge dip. They're kind of flatlined. But look at what happened to new listings in the past week. And that's kind of a surprise. But, what's going on? And it's not a huge leap, but percentage-wise, I suppose it is. But, what's going on? Are people saying, oh, rates are going up. I better get my house on the market now before they get too out of control. But sales, we went up to 7.10 on Friday on rates. And the what do I want to say? The sales didn't dip like I thought they would. Now we're sitting here at 6.97 today, and the rates are kind of going down a little bit. We'll see how the week fares. Everybody's anticipating data coming out March 10th, so in 4 more days. And so if we look at the Cromford report, it's interesting some of the things that they note here, and I'll just kind of read it to you because I want to point a couple things out. This is there were 5910 closed sales, down 36% from February 2022, but up 30% from January. Now, this is going to get headlines, folks. Down 35%. You're going to see it over and over again. You're going to say, sales are down 35%. Arizona's tanking. There were 1,200, and I'm going to show you the real numbers here. Well, those are the real numbers. There were 1,208 new homes, down 5%. So new construction was only down 5% versus last year. 4,702 resales, down 40%. And so the new home median sales price is up 7.8% from last year. Isn't that interesting? The median sales price for resale is down 6.7 from last year, but unchanged since last month. So you say here, once again, new homes are faring much better than resales in volume and pricing. These numbers are for single family homes, townhomes continue. And so we've got running at altitude 7% interest rates now, a little bit below this morning. And Chandler is still trucking along. Chandler's doing very well. And now I had a listing in Scottsdale. You probably saw it on YouTube. And we went under contract in little less than 2 days. I was surprised. I mean, I knew we'd have some traffic, but I mean, we had, 8, 9 showings on Saturday, and I think another 5 or 6 on Sunday. Had a gentleman do an open house up there. He had 15 groups come through the home. So we accepted a contract yesterday. It was a really good one. And you're always like, do we think any more are coming in? But we really like this. We really like the buyer. And lo and behold, this morning I get an email. I get an offer. The guy goes into details and says, this guy's an investor, and these numbers are going to reflect what he's looking for return on investment. It'll be a cash offer, short inspection period, but it was $55,000 below what we accepted. So and that's what I was afraid we were going to get. And so it was nice to tell the investor, nah, I don't think so. So what's going on here when we look at pending listings? So here's where we're at here. They still haven't come down. Now, next week, will they? Because, this lags about a week. But But based on my 7-day moving average, we're still sitting at about 3,300 contracts, and that's where we've been. We were way down to 1,900 and 2,200. So the interest rate hit doesn't seem to have punched yet. Now, when you see numbers that say that we are down 40%, they're talking we're down from here. And, those were pretty record high sales, right? So I would expect to be down 40% because this was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Or as Terry said, bonkers. And so the headlines are going to focus on this gap. You're going to see, and I've already seen a couple out there on the web that, says, sales are down. They're way down. It's terrible. Well, it's slow. There's no doubt, but pending listings are still, considering where we're at with rates, surprisingly high. Here's an interesting one to watch. So I like to watch the Cromford Demand Index and Supply Index. And we focus on this part right here. Notice how the red line, which is sales, is higher than the blue line, which is listings. Well, based on what I just showed you on the 7-day moving average, next week, this is going to change. The red line is going to stay about the same, but the blue line is going to head up. So there's no gap between the two. Why do I talk about gaps? Well, this is when things fell apart. Sales were down here. Inventory was up here at about 58,000 homes. Today we have 14,833, something like that. The opposite happened here. We had inventory way down here. At one point, we reached only 4,800 homes, and they were being gobbled up like crazy. So, 3% interest rates, prices went absolutely nuts. Now, there's articles that said mortgage lenders are selling homeowners a lie. I thought this one was interesting on Bloomberg, and they are specifically talking about this. And you've heard my opinion on this. Marry the house, date the rate. That's the advice realtors and mortgage lenders are giving worried home buyers as mortgage rates reapproach the 2-decade high of 7% reached in November. In other words, don't be afraid to commit to a house you love because you can just refinance, come down the next couple of years. They're saying here, frankly, it's bad advice. I'm not a big fan of that. Marry the house, date the rate. I don't like uncertainty. So I tend to agree with them. I think it kind of caught on as a little catchphrase when rates went up. Go, oh, well, get your house now because you can refinance next year. Well, you don't know that you can refinance next year. You can hope that you'll refinance next year. I think if you're hanging out thinking that we're going to see 3 and 4%, that's not going to happen. I don't think we're going to see that again, at least in my lifetime. And because I've only seen it once in my young life. So we're going to see it again. We probably could if all of a sudden the general economy tanks big time because they'll have to inject. They'll have to get back in. They'll have to start throwing more money at us again. That's why we're hoping for a soft landing and not a hard landing, because if we crash too hard, we're going to have to start throwing some money out there. Yeah, Jackie's super busy, and refi should be looked at as a bonus, not a have to. Exactly. I think you said that just exactly what I wanted to say, only better. Take a look at this. This is housing vacancy rates right here. And you can see that the vacancy rates for rentals, which is the pink line, is not quite at 6% yet. You want rental rates to come down, we're going to have to be up here. You're going to have to get above 7.5 before you see any reasonable, reductions there. And Keenan says, morning, coming at you from Chile, Canada. What the heck are you doing in Canada? So anyway, this is where we're at on vacancy rates for both single family and for rentals. The green line single family, that's way low. So we're not seeing a whole lot of rentals being sitting there with nobody in them. Now, here's an interesting chart to look at, and this is M2 money supply. And this is the amount of money that's circulating in our economy, and you can see the direction it's headed. In other words, the central banks are sucking the money out. And that's their intention, is to pull the money supply out so that we can tame inflation. And they're doing it. If you look at this on a percentage basis, it's almost straight down. Now we peaked up a little bit here, but that's just because the data's lagging. Gets kind of complicated. But money supply is definitely slowing down. Not as much money circulating in the economy. The thing to remember on that is there's an 18-month lag time. So we can have money supply going way down now. Not going to feel the effects of that for 12 to 18 months. Just going to take some time for that to make its way into the system. So that's why we're looking and saying, well, rates are probably going to be high for a long time. And there's concern that since there is an 18-month delay, they crimp down really hard now. And then 18 months from now, when it actually takes effect, we go, uh-oh, we went too hard, too fast. And now it's too late. They got to try and recoil, get back in there. So that's that could be a problem, or it could be a great big non-event. So again, I don't try to predict the economy going out that far. Have you heard of some of these listing agreements where this company is getting sued like crazy? Utah's taken some strong action now. They're the first state to ban right to list agreements. Now, it's MV Realty. It's out of Florida and some other states. Let me explain what this is. They came up with this screwy idea that if we do a listing agreement with your home, that listing agreement is 30 to 40 years long. In other words, somebody buys the house from you. Now I still have a listing agreement with them to sell their house. And then if they sell their house, I have a listing agreement that's permanent on the house. I say permanent, but it's 30 or 40 years. And some people didn't know this. They actually have a lien on the house. I mean, how crooked is that? So I'm glad to see that Utah took some language and jumped in there and said, we're not doing that here. Because people would buy the house and then they go to sell it and they go, what do you mean you have a listing agreement with me? I don't even know who you are. Oh, well, look at your tax records. You'll see that we have a lien on there. That's just crooked as all get out. Been on a ski trip in BC. Where are you at? Are you in Grouse Mountain? That's up above Vancouver. I skied that once. So don't like to see those kind of agreements. And it certainly hurts the real estate industry when people are doing screwy stuff like that. I don't like it at all. Now, this week, I believe there's not a whole lot of data coming out that's going to rattle the markets, and they are targeting the elderly. Yes, Jackie, they're coming after me. Oh, man. It's just sick what some people are doing out there. I plan on being live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have our Thursday show with the group on Thursday at 6:00 at night. Pat and I are live on Fridays. On the Thursday show, I want to point out that we are going to be asking them to provide you a link. I want to know what you want to see. In other words, we have a lot of access to data that you can't see. So I want to fill a need for you. I don't want to just spout off numbers that I'm seeing, but I want to give you numbers that you're looking for. And so I'm going to have a form out on the Thursday show, and then I'll send the form out and just tell me, Rick, if I log in, this is what I want to see when I get on YouTube. I'm looking at following information. And we'll try to make that show as informative as we can, because it's already fun to do. It will still include Pat-isms as he comes up with his analogies. And then when he does that, I make more coffee cups. So we're going to have a good time with it, and we're going to get a little aggressive here and make sure that we're consistent. And now that I'm home and have a good internet connection, everybody have a great Monday. Take on the rest of the week. Take care.